Okay, we're live. Welcome one, welcome all to the final tribal council of Survivor Athena, the Himalayas. Um, I'm here with my co-host Mitch and our finalists Timmy and Ashvika, the last man and the last woman standing in this Battle of the Sexes season. Um, there's been a lot of drama, a lot of sneaking around in this game, which there's always that in every Survivor game. Um, and we're ready to crown our winner. Ashvika and Timmy, I'm gonna let Ashvika start with her opening statement
Ooh,
because ladies first.
of course.
Um, the jury should be watching. We have the viewing lounge watching. Um, and Ashvika, if the floor is yours.
Yay. Okay, I want to start by thanking Duncan for hosting this season and the entire hosting team and admin team. And congrats to me for making it this far. And thank you to all the jury and the pre jury for making it such a good game to play in. Throughout this game, I think my biggest asset was always being in the know of what's going on in the game. So even if I wasn't the one who was making moves, I believe that I always knew what move was going to be made and I could always make a decision based. So whether it was knowing who had which idol or what prize they won in the auction, to knowing which girl the guys were targeting or vice versa, or understanding at least some of the alliances that were forming, I always knew what was going on. As an attestament to this, I would not have known that Arrow was targeting me if it hadn't been for the alliances and the connections that I had made throughout this game. Um, I like to believe that I built a relationship with everybody that played in the game, or at least a relationship that allowed them to trust me or trust me enough to tell me information that could help me. The early relationship that I built with Oakley during the summit really helped me, especially when we got to merge and nobody really knew what the guys were thinking. And the long lasting relationship that I had with Autumn helped me, especially after I turned on the girls, because there was no way that they were going to tell me information, but they were able to tell her things that would later be translated to me, and I used that in my favor. The mistake I made that changed the course of this game was probably choosing to vote against the girls at one round. And what something that I pride myself on for my strategy is always being able to think 2 weeks ahead. And so by thinking 2 weeks ahead, I saw how the game would turn out if we kept taking out the guys. And so I decided to make a move at this point. And it was my idea to have the vote be split at first. So I would betray the girls, and then Autumn would join me afterwards. And I wanted to make this decision because once Autumn flipped, I didn't want them to have any bad blood with her so that we can maintain that connection with the girls. So that because they weren't going to give me information, so we would still maintain that connection with the girls so that we can get information that way. It was a move that allowed the power dynamic to change in the game, and it allowed for strong competitors to get out, which who wouldn't have been out earlier. So, for example, Madison and Autumn both, which who were comp beasts and they were completely dominating the social game. If I would not have been able to beat them later because I can't win the competition to save my life, but making that move at that point allowed that chain of events to occur. And like I said, my weakness is having a grand total of 0 competition wins, but albeit I even though I wasn't a physical threat, I don't think I needed to be because there's no point where I was in danger. So before merge, the girls consistently won, and when we didn't, we had a plan in action. And right afterwards, there was never a time where I was a target. The only 2 times I was a target was final six, and then Oakley volunteered to use the idol on me. And in final five, when I talked to Timmy about possibly voting Arrow out, because I knew that I was the next possible target if Oakley was the one to be voted out. Of being an overt threat, I was also able to maintain my connections with everyone, but still making moves behind the scenes. So I voted with the girls at first to show my allegiance and gain their trust. But once I flipped, I quickly had the trust of the guys. So it was never a point where I was an outsider or I had nobody's trust. It was always a point where I had the trust of somebody in the game. I was able to maintain a relationship with Madison, even though I knew she wanted me out. And I would like to believe that I maintained a good relationship with almost all of the jurors before they got voted out. I believe that I used these kinds of social tactics and a social strategy to further my game. And I also believe that having information is valuable to this game, and that's what I base my strategy off of, which was getting information, getting as much information as I can, and using it, or on the other side, just keeping it to myself and using it when I saw it was fit. And it was because of these connections that I made and the way that I established my position in the game, I think that the jury should vote for me. And thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ashrika. Thank you for muting. Timmy, you're up next.
Okay, hi. I just need to pull up my speech for a second. Okay. First, I want to say thank you for having me in the season. I've had a great time. Congratulations, Ashrika, for getting this far as well. So with my game, in past Survivor games I've been in, I've been very much a pre-merge flop. So coming to this one, I kind of had to rethink an entire strategy in a Survivor game because obviously the things I've done in the past have not worked. So I had to rely on a social game, which I don't usually do. Usually I try to win competitions, but still try to have a connection with people, but it becomes difficult to me. But this time I think I was able to do that, build connections, have people's trusts. Shiva went to tribal council 3 times before the combined, like the conjoined tribal council. And in those times, I never received a single vote. And I knew exactly who would go. Granted, 2 out of 3 times it was unanimous. But in the time which it was not, I knew exactly how the vote was going to go, where everyone's heads were at, because I had people on both sides coming to me telling me what they thought and what they wanted to do, because I had built trust with them, even though I didn't necessarily do what they wanted me to. I'm not going to say I led decisions at that time because I didn't, but I was always on the correct side of the vote. So throughout this game, I wanted to make sure people were comfortable talking to me and telling me how they felt about like the game, how they felt about other people. And I would like to think that I had a good understanding of the sides in this game, whether it be guys and girls, or after the fact when it was myself, Oakley, Ashrika, and then like Kaylee, Madison, Arrow, and Rebecca. And a big point in that was in the vote where I had 4 votes against me, Kaylee had 4, and it went to the flip. At that point, I knew that like the 4 votes were going to be Kaylee, but my side thought the other ones votes would probably be for Oakley. But even with that and with the flip, it being with me, I was still someone who had a good relationship with people enough where it's not like, oh, at the last second, Kaylee might be better. I was the better choice in that for people's games because I had built that connection. And so like after all that, with trying to figure out what had happened with people, I immediately messaged, not necessarily immediately, but like the next day messaged Madison and Rebecca just talking about it. And Madison had mentioned the fact that she claimed 2 flipped. So I knew that she was lying to me and I had a reason to want her out, and gave me a push for other people being like, she's lying to me, she doesn't trust me. And people were good enough to do what I wanted in that way. Granted, a idol, I also almost said veto. I know too much Big Brother. An idol was used on Ashrika, but either way, I think I could have tried to flip Arrow to vote out Madison, even though he really wanted Ashrika to leave. So with all that, in that situation, it became a lot about communication, and which I found to be key in this game rather than other times I've played. I was able to learn from my mistakes. And going on to like the weeks following, it was all about my vote became very necessary, especially at final, was it 5? Yes, 5. When Arrow left, because I knew it was going to be 2 votes Arrow, 2 votes Oakley, and I'd been debating it all day of who would be best in my game to go, ultimately being Arrow, because I could have been a threat the next time. If Oakley had won immunity, the numbers could have changed and it could have been me out. But no, also knowing the fact that Oakley would always be a bigger target in front of me if he did not, and that's what happened. He went in Final 4. I won immunity, individual immunity, 3 times, one being the last round. But I don't necessarily think I had to because I had enough trust in people. People trusted me, and I didn't receive votes in this game until the point where it was split. So with all that, I think I deserve to win this game because I just realized my camera was very not centered to my face. Um, I think I deserve to win this game just for the fact that I've adapted well, I've been social, and I had a well-rounded game with comps. That's what I got.
Okay, thank you very much, Timmy. Um, Now it's time for our jurors to come on one by one, and they will both ask you either the same question or a different question each, or they'll just make a statement if they don't feel like asking a question. We're gonna start off with Steven, who was our first juror. Let me send him the link, and he'll be on in just a sec. Okay, so you are here, Steven. Welcome. Um, Welcome to the Final Tribal Council. Whenever you're ready, you may ask your question.
All right, so hello, first of all, but first of all, I'll start with Timmy. A lot of people on the jury and Ashvika have made a clear reputation for themselves and their game, whether it be as a trader, someone who's played loyal, or someone who's a strategist. Where do you see yourself fitting into those kind of roles?
I like to see myself as a loyal player. When I had, at least to like the people who had shown loyal to me consistently throughout, the big part of this game was, as in my game, was working with Oakley. He was coming to me with was true, and I would always stay loyal to him at least. Because I know it doesn't necessarily stay loyal to everyone, but it was like that prime relationship that I was always going to stay loyal to, and that was never going to break. So I guess I can kind of, it's difficult to say loyal and traitor to some, but depends how like they look at it. I look at it as myself being loyal, um, because even in the fact of split votes, when I knew had said just in my speech before, in Final Five when it was 2 votes Arrow, 2 votes Oakley, I stuck with Oakley because ultimately I knew I could trust him and it benefited my game more.
All right. So Ashvika, a lot of people talk about the different kinds of gameplay: strategic, physical, social. What kind of balance did you find in your game, and which one of these did you value the most?
Okay, hello. I valued my strategic game the most, and I think I relied on that the strongest because, well, I think it was a balance between my strategic and social because I had no physical game. I'll admit that, but um, my strategy was always being able to think ahead and being able to see what's going to go on in the next 2 weeks if I don't make a move, and I was able to shape my social moves that way. So I think that's the balance that I found between then. I would always have a strategy of how to go forward and then make my social moves to the strategy I needed to go forward. Thank you. Also, I love your voice.
Oh, thank you. A lot of people were surprised by my accent, apparently. Yeah? Do I go now? I mean, I can't hear you, Duncan.
Oops, are you finished with your question, Steven? Are you okay?
Yeah, you've answered them really well, so yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
No problem, thank you.
Next up, I have a question from Kaylee. Kaylee cannot join the call herself right now. Let me pull up her question. Da, 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 da. Okay. Okay, so she has one question for both of you in general. And her question to both of you is, what do you personally think your biggest move during this game was? I'll let Ashrika start the opening statement, so Timmy, you can answer first.
I know I'm going to reference this a lot, but I think even though it was late in the game, it was kind of important for me, the move to keep Oakley at Final Five, because they kind of pushed myself to at least this point, because I knew the vote depended on what I did, because I knew where everyone else was going to be. And keeping him, I knew the scenario of if he won immunity, Rebecca was probably going because they had been at it for a while. And if he didn't, which he didn't, he was going to go because he was the biggest threat. So I think the fact of keeping him in the game as a shield for myself was kind of a good move for me, even though it necessarily did not involve getting someone out.
Okay, thank you, Timmy. Ashvika?
Okay, well, ironically, I think that the biggest move that I made was deciding to flip on the girls and voting Kaylee out. I think this was a big move that I made because I was able to see how the weeks to progress would go, and it's a move that ultimately changed the course of the game. I believe if that move hadn't been made, then the game would have just been taking out all the guys until there were no guys left, and then going from the hierarchical pyramid of the girls until we just had two girls left in the final two. And that's not a game that I like to play, mostly because I don't like majorities, but also because that wouldn't have benefited me because I was at the bottom during that time. Well, I believe, because I believe there was a trio and then two girls on the bottom. And I didn't want the game to progress that way. So I think that by flipping my vote and voting Kaylee out, I was able to change the course of the game and how people saw the game. I changed the relationships in the games. I aligned myself more with the guys, which got me further. I changed who was still left in the game. I was able to get strong players out, and I got the ball rolling for that. So I think that's the biggest game move that I made.
Okay. Kaylee, I'll check your host chat. Are you satisfied with their answers? If you're listening, I hope you're listening, girl. Okay, she's satisfied. Next up is Autumn, and I already sent her the link. Autumn, you may join when you are ready.
Do y'all want to watch me crack a raw egg into some rice?
What?
Do a raw egg into some rice?
I don't know what you're saying. It's like lagging like a half a second.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm gonna. Rice.
Eggy?
Raw.
I don't understand, bitch. I don't understand. I really don't. I don't know what you said. R.I.P. Autumn. Okay, here she is. Autumn, whenever you're ready, you may ask your
Hi.
question.
Okay. I love Mitch. Mitch is hilarious. Okay, Kaylee stole my question. So off the top of my head, okay, off the top of my head, okay, what was your biggest weakness and how did you account for it in your game?
Okay, Ashvika, you start this time.
Okay, hi, I love you, Autumn. My biggest weakness was my lack of physical game because I couldn't win a competition, but I think I was able to make up for it by relying on the connections that I made. There was never a moment when I needed to win immunity, which I think made up for my lack of physical game because I didn't have to win immunity to be safe. And even if I was in danger, I found a way to get myself out of it. Like I stated before, in Final 6, Oakley used the idol on me, and in Final 5, I was able to use my connections to make sure that the person I wanted out was out, and that started.
Hi. So I think, at least in this game, my biggest weakness was probably not elaborate, like telling people straight up, like, I want this person out to try to get my targets out. But I think that kind of worked out. This worked out well for me in the end, just because. I'm sitting here, and the fact that in the end they did all get out, whether it be in different ways. It kind of me not saying it anything also led to the fight between Oakley and Rebecca, putting targets on both of their back. So I was kind of in the background, not people weren't necessarily paying attention to me, even though I did have competition wins and things like that, which in games past have been known to make people targets. I think I was able to overcome that reasonably well.
Okay. I'll take it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Autumn. Okay. Up next is Madison. Sent her the link. I sent people the link during the time before. If she doesn't come on in like the next minute and a half, I'll probably just move on to the next person. Until then, we can watch Mitch cook. Mads. Also, shout out to Toph and Steven. They were here during the beginning of the game, but viral stuff got to them. And super big shout out to Amanda, the admin watching over this game. This game wouldn't have been possible without her. She's helped me host both my games, and I don't know what I would do without her. Okay, on positive note, Madison's trying. She should be here in just a few moments. Hey, Mitch, can you hear us? I don't think you can hear us. There's Madison. Hi, Mads. Thank you for joining, and the floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Okay. I guess I'll start with Timmy, sure, because he's the first one that I see on the bottom. So, actually, 1 second. Okay, sorry. So, my question for you, Timmy, I guess, is because like I know you've talked a lot that you think you kind of staying in the background was a good move for you, but like as an objective observer, like being in the game but also after being out and watching kind of your game progress, it doesn't seem like you yourself made a lot of strong moves or necessarily did anything as a player except for your physical game, which like go you, very impressive. To like, I don't know, as it like just watching, I wasn't like, wow, Timmy, like go you, like yes, big move. So what do you think makes you worthy of being the sole survivor, I guess? Because I think that's like a general question from the jury.
I think with that, the general category of outlasting, I outlasted anyone who tried to go against me. Like also you specifically, you and you know this. Like you lied to me at some point. We know this. You're laughing about it. You know. And I think even just in that, it's about outwit, outplay, outlast, and I did that. I made sure I made sure people I wanted gone were gone. Was I necessarily the forefront of making that clear? No. Did I want to be? Also no. But I wanted to be known that I was a part of that. I was out there strategizing because making moves can't always be a one-person job. You have to work with the people around you. Otherwise, in the end, it's just like, what did you like? It becomes a lot more difficult to outlast. Because if you're the one making all the moves, people will see that directly and they will get you out. If you see a player like Oakley, he was very much out front, outspoken, making those moves, but it kind of bit him in the ass and he left. You as well. You have said a lot of things. But I think a big part of that, there's multiple ways to play this game. And I think for me it works, and I do see that as a big move. I get I get what you mean by it's not like yes. I'm not necessarily doing that, but in my own way, I am doing that. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, sure, definitely. That's kind of the answer I expected, but I wanted to hear it like you, I guess, elaborate a little bit. Okay, so Heshabika, Kaylee also stole my question and apparently Autumn's question as well, so I'm coming up with these off the top of my head also. Let's see. What do I want to ask you? I have so many questions for you, but a lot of those will wait. Sorry. Okay, so I guess let's see. My question for you will be let's see. I already know what you think your biggest move was and what your weakness was. Do you have any regrets in the way that you played the game, or do you think that if you had played things differently, things would have turned out a different way? I guess.
I don't have any regrets in the way that I played the game, but one thing that I do regret is not keeping Autumn around longer because she was my closest ally. And I wish I could have saved her. That's the one thing I think that I should have done that I wasn't able to do, is keep Autumn in the game, because I believe that we would have made it even further, and I would have loved to go all the way with her.
That's so cute. I love that. That's how I felt with Rebecca, but cry. Okay. Well, I guess I'm done then.
Yeah. Thank you, Madison.
Bye, y'all. Love you. Good luck.
Also, Ashrika, I just wanted to give you a heads up because like the light on the top of your ceiling is like making it really hard to see. Okay, lit. That's cuter. Thank you. I sent you the link. I guess Arrow, I apologize. So join whenever you're ready. Also, now I understand Mitch put a raw egg in the rice like 10 minutes ago. Yeah. Whew, took a second. Mixing the eggy rice. All right. The floor is yours.
Okay. Hey guys, congrats on making final two. Timmy, I have two questions for you. If Rebecca had not won immunity at Final Four, who would you have voted out, and why did you take Ashvika over Rebecca to the final tribal?
Okay, so if Rebecca had not won immunity, I would still want to find a way to get Oakley out, just in the fact of I was always loyal to him, but I knew in the end there was no way to beat him. So I would like to think that I could have found a way to make that stay the same. Whether it would have happened or not, I'm not sure, but that would have been the plan I would go with. And the reason I took Ashvika over Rebecca is because I thought Rebecca kind of had a roller coaster ride in this game, but she was always able to stay at the top and not leave, which says something about a game. And I don't think with everything that she had done with moves, even if she wasn't necessarily on the right side of votes, she was able to stay out of the rest of her alliance members. So that's something that I would not have been able to beat her through all that.
Okay. Ashvika, what was your key move pre-merge?
Oh, okay. Pre-merge, I don't think I did make a key move pre-merge, and I can admit that I flew under the radar, and when it came to time to making decisions, I did go with the majority, but I don't think there was a move to be made at the point, because we only went to tribal once because we lost, and then once because it was a double tribal. Besides that, there was no real opportunity to make moves, so I'd have to admit that I didn't really make a move before merge. But thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Next up is, call him Oz. I like to call him Oakley. He should be here in just a few moments. Okay, Oakley's here.
Hello.
Hi, Oakley. It's your turn. Go ahead.
Okay, so I really don't know which one of you I feel played a better game, so here's where I'm at. I'm gonna ask you guys a question, and you're each gonna have 2 opportunities to answer it, and you're gonna go back and forth. Timmy, since you won the final challenge, you're gonna go first. And Ashvika, be listening because you have the same question. Give me an instance of something at the merge that happened that I did not know about. The more you shock me, the more likely you are to get my vote. Timmy, you're first.
I don't know. You knew a lot. Give me a second to think. I have to think. Because there was also things you didn't know that I didn't know as well. Like the fact of how you thought with the whole Kaylee thing that it was going to be votes against you, even though it was votes for me. That post merge that you did not know about. I mean, granted, you didn't know about how much I talked to Rebecca. Especially after the fight you guys had, I was talking to her the entire D of the next day, making out different strategies, some to go against you. I was out there just because I needed that backup plan that could work. But there's something.
Okay, Ashvika, it's your turn.
Okay, well, yeah, like you said, you did know a lot, but you didn't know the relationships and the plans that the girls had. That especially that first week of merge before the flip to Kaylee, you were pretty much in the dark about what was going on then. And I did choose only to share select information with you, so that would benefit my game. So that's kind of stuff that you were in the dark about.
Okay, and Timmy, if you can think of another instance, the floor is yours.
This isn't necessarily another instance. It's the fact that I was always on the same tribe with you, and you were my number 1 person in this game for the most part. So it's like trying to think of something you didn't know is difficult because we pretty much, I pretty much wanted to work hand in hand with you, and I was loyal to you, minus that towards the end when I had all those different ideas in my head of what to do, thoughts if you weren't there because you were the bigger threat. So I don't really have an answer, which kind of sucks, but it's more the fact of I was loyal to you. You knew where my head was at. So sorry.
You're good. And Ashvika, if you can think of a second instance, the floor is yours. If you can't, that's okay.
I guess like before I told you, you didn't know about the relationship that Autumn and I had beforehand and how close we were. So I guess that's something that you didn't know. But you played a great game.
And one little shock that I'm going to reveal, I did not find the idol the morning of the Final 7 Tribal. I found the idol before I even gave the clue out to anybody. So, you guys played a great game. I am going to be happy no matter which one of you 2 wins. Good luck.
Thank you, Oakley. Rebecca, you're up next. You may join when you're ready. If she's ready. And she's the last one to go, so I can't have anyone else go. Okay, she's coming. All Star starts December 15th, I think. Mitch, how is everything? I'm focused on you now. Thumbs up. I wish I had bangs so I could say, I got bangs, and then gif it, but I don't, and that sucks. Apparently she's trying. I love filler time. I don't have guests for this event. She's gonna try on her phone. You think I'm funny, Ashrika? I don't have any jokes. God. Please. And you're not my therapist either. I'm not telling you about my childhood. Ugh. I'll tell you about an icon. Her name is Camilla. She's from Brazil. She's hosting All Stars, and she won season 1 of Athena. Oh, lit. Rebecca's here. Hi, Rebecca.
Hey.
The floor is yours, and you may ask them each the same question or ask a different question to each. I don't care. Go ahead.
I feel like I was in the game long enough to have like a pretty good idea of both people's strategies and stuff. So I just have like a fun question. Are you team Kim Ye or Taylor Swift, and why? And like I don't care who goes first.
I want to say Kanye, but I don't really like Kanye. And I don't really like Kim, but I like them more than I like Taylor, except I like Taylor's music. But yeah, Kanye. I'll go Kanye. I don't know.
I too have to say Kim Ye. Just it's funnier that way. Although one time my friends did force me to go to a Taylor Swift exhibit in New York, which was an experience. But definitely Kim Ye. It's just I don't know. It's funnier that way to me.
Okay, I'm glad that you guys are both on the right side. So, all right, that's it. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Rebecca. All right, and that's all the jurors. Everyone who's listening, jurors, it is now time to vote. You will don't take forever. You should know who you're voting for, or take 2 minutes to decide. I'll set a timer on my phone. You have 3 minutes to vote for who you want to be the sole survivor of Survivor the Himalayas. And your time to vote starts now. Stop talking in the Ponderosa. Fucking vote. You two can unmute now. Yeah, go ahead, party.
You're a funny host. It's okay, I love you.
I love you too. I love all my children in this game. Pre-merge people would have been around longer, but you know. Vote in your host chat, please.
Are they trying to vote in Ponderosa?
No, I could not comment.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, your screen's gonna go off.
You're really gonna hold it there for 2 more minutes?
Vote in your host chat to make it official.
Duncan, we can't see the timer anymore.
Oh, RIP. So if you PM'd me, please do it in your host chat so like Amanda and the admins can see, so it can be officially counted. Blah 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 blah. Because I'm just the host for the season. I'm not an admin for a reason.
I'm just the bitch who makes the biscuits.
Rebecca got your vote. Oh, Jesus, timer. Hold this with my left hand so I can type, huh? got your vote. Ashrika got your vote. I mean,
Excuse me?
I'm not gonna say.
Ashrika, why you voting?
I'm just gonna shut up and say how many votes I have.
Missing one. One. Nope, we got him.
Okay, I think
that's all of them, yeah.
I'm messaging that person now because like I know what they mean to say, but like I want it crystal clear. And don't edit your messages. They'll make me crazy. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I can punch himself on camera. Ponderosa wants to know if you can punch yourself on cam.
Me? Oh, because I started yelling at them? No. You don't get that satisfaction. But what I will do is go
Or
tell
just a little.
Duncan, you're still on
In the
mute.
meantime,
for
this
whatever
rice is
reason.
delicious.
What?
Purpose.
Mitch, how's the food?
It's delicious. And if I get salmonella, it's worth it.
Yes.
I'm just going to sit here and slowly eat on camera while he counts the votes.
What is it called? What did you make?
Japanese breakfast food. I'm probably going to like butcher the pronunciation, but it's like somewhere and I might be able to read it. Tamago kake gohan. Apparently, Jury wants me to tell me a story. To tell
You tell us
you
a story. Tell us a joke.
Tell us about your
I mean,
childhood.
okay. Story joke, and it takes place in my childhood.
Ooh.
One time in middle school. Yes. For some reason, I like dramatically bent over to laugh at something in my mouth. Hear that? Like, is my computer lagging?
Yeah.
Very much lagging.
Oh my god. A laugh and a bee flew in my mouth.
Oh no.
I was like, why the fuck is there a rock in my mouth? And I spit it out and there's like a bee like wiggling around on the pavement. And I'm like, oh shit. So yeah, there was that. I did get stung like on the tongue, but like it wasn't serious. A little bit. And the nurse was like, just get like a bottle of like cold water and just like start drinking it or something. And I'm like, cool. Because I bent over to laugh.
It's a good story. It's better than Duncan's stories.
I may be muted, but I can still hear you. And speaking of, I have the votes. I'm just making sure that I'm not missing anything in all the chats real quick.
Did you check my vote?
I did check your vote, thanks. I was going through checking every host chat. I was like, oh, what? Okay. Are we ready for this to be finished?
Sure.
Okay. Tonight, you want to see your names on these pieces of paper. It takes 4 to win. There are 7 jurors. Best of luck to the both of you. Here we go. The first vote is for Ashvika. The second vote is for Ashvika. That's 2 votes, Ashvika. The third vote is for Ashvika. That is 3 votes, Ashvika. If this next vote's for Ashvika, she's the winner. Our fourth vote and the winner of Survivor the Himalayas, Ashvika. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you.
It was, in fact, a 7-0 vote. So you got all the votes of the jurors. Congratulations.
Congrats.
You are the next winner of the Athena series.
Thank you. Good job, Jamie. And thank you, Duncan.
Absolutely.
You were amazing.
Thank you. Thank you both were amazing. Everyone was awesome. It's been a great season. Ashvika, do you have any words to say?
No, just thank you. And it was great. And thank you for hosting. You're amazing.
Thank you. And I couldn't have done it without my co-host or the admin. Tammy, thank you very much for playing second place. That's what I've gotten. Very good job. Thank you everyone for playing. Thank you everyone for watching. It's been a blast. And I'm kind of sad that it's over now, but all good things must come to an end. Thank you everyone again for playing, for watching. Thank you, Amanda. Good night, and we'll see everyone in Survivor Season 13 All Stars. Good night.
Good night.